Well, if you were here last April, I did a video every day, and today is April the 1st, which is a wonderful time to get an idea to do this, but I think I'm going to check in every day on my reading and just see where I am and what I've done, and it may be so short that it ends up being a short, but anyway. First, let's talk about what I'm reading in April. Here's my actual TBR. Hello, and welcome to my April TBR. This may be the most chaotic, I know you can't see it, but I have giant stacks of books around me. There's another one on the other side, and there's a huge stack back here that I'm actually reading. This stack is what I've decided not to read. So, wow. I clearly need to put some things away, but I am doing 2 different readathons. I'm doing my normal Aurelium. I started it last year at the very beginning when she first started the readathon. And so in April we go to school. So I have 12 books for both of my characters that I have to read. Now, I'm ignoring those for right now because I'm also doing the Battle of the Bands competition. And in order to do that, I have to read 20 books to do the whole thing. My team reads 5. The other 3 teams have 5. And I can take points away from them if I read their books. So that's 20 books total that I'm going to try to read. And I'm not going to go through each prompt and tell you what they are. I'm just going to tell you everything that I'm going to try to read in the month of April, those 20 books. And then there are 2 extras that I'm doing as buddy reads that I could not get in the list. So I'm going to be looking down at my screen for a little bit because I have to read these books to you. I have a lot of them in person. So another thing is I'm moving in June. And so in April, whatever physical books I can read and move out of my house, that'll just be fewer books that I have to move with me in April, in June. So I will do the books by teams because then I don't have to have as many books over here in front of me. So I'm going to tell you first. The first team is called the Beatles, and they have prompts 1 through 5. So I'm going to be reading The Lies of Locke Lamora. I'm also going to be reading Nettle and Bone and Fred the Vampire Accountant and Summer Night, which is the next book in the Dresden series that I'm reading with Leslie. Then the last book for this group is a poll pick, and because I was really smart, I picked 4 short books to put on the poll, and here is what they are. I've got Remote Control, Every Heart a Doorway, Wendy's Magic Feather, and What Moves the Dead. The books, in order to count for this readathon, have to be over 150 pages, so I checked them all. They're all over 150. And somebody told me that Remote Control counts for a different prompt in another team. So I'm taking it off the poll, and these are my poll choices. So whatever people vote on the Discord will be the one of these that I read for that team. The next team is Led Zeppelin, and that's where Remote Control comes in. I'm also reading Pray by Michael Crichton, and one of my self-published sci-fi competition books, X and Ex Machina. It kind of is very shiny. So anyway, that one. Then I have End of Watch by Stephen King and The German House by Annette Hess. Those are the 5 books for Led Zeppelin. Then the next team is Queen, which is the team that I am on. And the books that I have picked, there's only one that I don't have, and that is Devoted in Death, which is the next book in the In Death series. And then I'll be reading Red Rising, Bubbles in Space, another one of the competition books. The Shadow of the Wind. Yes, I'm finally getting to it. I was supposed to read it in this month in March, but it just became available on audio from my library, and I really wanted to do this in physical and audio. So now I will be starting it. And Loathe to Love You by Allie Hazelwood. Those are the 5 for Queen. And finally, the last team is AC/DC, and I will be reading Divergent and The View from Infinity Beach, which is also a competition book. And I'll be done with my competition books. This is the last one. And I'm also reading Brotherhood in Death, the next book in Death, Cradle, the first book in the Cradle series, and The White Tiger by Aravind Aditya. Adiga. I'll find out how that's pronounced when I do my wrap up. So that is it. That's I said that's it. Like, that's not 20 books. The other two that I don't have, one of them is a NetGalley book called Metabolism Makeover, and I will be reading this with Sandy from Miss Reads a Lot, and The Mime Order, which is the next book in the Bookstara read along. So the next Bone Season book, and I might read that first and find out if it fits any of these prompts. And if it does, I'll just push one of these other books off and the Mime Order will slide in there. So I think that's my plan right now, is to read it first so that it can take the place where it is supposed to go. So let's see if I can get all of them up here. This is all the books. There's a couple extra little books down here because they're part of my poll picks, but everything else I'm trying to read this month. Wish me luck. Okay, that's it. At least 20 books, potentially a couple more, but since I filmed that, I have managed one of the extra books, The Mime Order. I have managed to get that into the list. However, I also realized that I did not need to be reading it because we're not reading that until May in the Bookstara read-along. However, today's April 1st. I started it last night, so I'm just going to go ahead and read it. I'm going to go ahead and finish it. I'm already like 40% of the way through. It's a quick read. It's book 3 in a series, maybe book 4, maybe book 2. I think it's book 3. It's book 2 in a series. Anyway, it's in a series somewhere. I clearly don't know what order it is, but I'm reading it. That's fine. And it counts for the Battle of the Bands. So I'll be back tomorrow, probably looking just like this, since I have nothing to do on this day. Actually, I might be dressed tomorrow more than a jacket because I have to go get my son from a camp out and it's Sunday. So, bye.